Give me a second here, fellas. Give me a second here. Ladies and gentlemen, week 11 around the corner. Just Monday morning at 8 in the morning. Just finished the other video at like 3 a.m. Got like 4 hours of sleep in me. This is your bracket, assuming nothing crazy happens between JC Game and Woo's Game. Me versus Woo in the quarterfinals. Then it goes on to Croc versus Chris. Banger of a set. Loving it. Then in the Hoenn Conference, I'm the Sinnoh Conference. Then in the Hoenn Conference, we got the Battle of the Brits. Josh versus Noah. Only one Brit can go forward from here. And then in our last set of the quarterfinals, assuming nothing crazy happens, like I said, we have Mnaz, the Season 2 champ, who just narrowly, as of right now, narrowly is sneaking his way through playoffs versus Preston. This is history in the making, y'all. I can't stress this enough. Every predictions video for the rest of the season, I'm nailing this bracket into everyone's head. As of right now, these are the teams making it. Obviously, Woo and Preston have yet to play their games, but assuming nothing crazy happens, this is what we're expecting. Now that that's out of the way, got the hype out the way. Let me grab my headphones real quick. Fuck it, they're charging. I don't think taking them off the charger. I've had my fucking earbuds in my ears all night sleeping, so can do this one without music. So yeah. Actually, no, fuck all of you. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna play my actual music because I know that can kind of get in the way a little bit. But we're gonna do some background music just because surely it does not disrupt the video that much if I play very low background music. I don't even know if you guys can hear that. Let me see. Okay, you can. I'll turn it down a little bit. Alright, that's like the lowest I think I can make it. Yeah. We're here. And yeah, a little bit of a weird intro. But yeah, as of right now, obviously Woo and News Game very big for playoffs, because if Woo were to lose, Tanner would overtake his spot like immediately, but I don't see that happening. But assuming, because JC is very capable of beating Preston, very capable. Will he? We don't know. But if JC were to beat Preston, he would still not lose his playoff spot, because the next closest person to taking his spot would be B. But Preston's at plus 14 differential right now, and B's at plus 2. So even if Preston were to lose minus 12 differential, get 6-0'd both games, he'd be tied with B. So yeah, again, that's not really happening. So as of right now, even if Preston loses to JC, he's still in the playoffs. So as bottom half of the bracket on lock, top half, if Woo were to lose to New, Tanner would overtake. But assuming that doesn't happen, this is what we're expecting coming out of week 10. This game's supposed to be played, but they will be played in due time. So yeah. Where did I want to go? Oh yeah, weekly predictions. So first game of the week is me versus the Croc. I think this is gonna be a good game. I think again, coming off my first loss of the season, definitely sucks. Definitely want to start doing good. But yeah, Croc came off probably his second most important game of the season. His most important game will probably be next week against Tanner. will be next week versus Tanner, his most important game of his Big Juice career. But yeah, for me, game matters. You know what I mean? Like, it matters because I don't want Chris to overtake my spot as the #1 seed. Because, again, Chris could very well win out. So I need to keep my differential and record up because I'm still a game ahead of him. So as long as I just win one more game than him, it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Also, if I beat Wu, that point is also null and void. Well, I play him next week, so yeah. Anyway, this game really doesn't matter for me, but I still want to win, obviously. I mean, I can't go for the perfect season, but 13-1 definitely does not sound bad. Definitely does not sound bad. So yeah, unlike Season 2, where after I took my first loss to Tanner, I started just taking a little bit of an easy. Playoffs, right around the corner. I want to stay hot going into playoffs. So yeah, definitely not Season 2 Plays coming out here. Definitely very much want to keep up the momentum. That way going into playoffs, I'm at my most confident and I'm at my peak. So yeah, there's that. Croc, big game for him. Because I keep saying he's in this weird spot. And in my video that I made last night, or I guess 5 hours ago, I kept saying Shades of Mnez. And I kind of believe that. You know what I mean? Like, Croc has that Chase has that X factor, but so does Croc, I feel. Croc is very capable. Did he beat Tanner the last time they played? I'm unsure. No, he did, because I remember the one game. Yeah, so Croc beat Tanner last time, so definitely no one to sleep on. But yeah, me versus Croc, gonna be a big game. Tanner hasn't been having the season we all thought he would probably have. I mean, he's not doing bad. 6-4 is definitely not bad by any means, but yeah. And me, like I said in the recent videos and as I've been saying, I've been a pretty top 1, top 2 team every season. So it's gonna be a big game for Croc. Can he really take it to someone who is definitely like a championship caliber player and team? I don't know. I mean, obviously he beat Tanner, but can he bring it to another one? You know what I mean? Like, because I just came out of a fun. Tanner's was Season 1. Mine was literally last season. So can he bring it to me? We don't know. We'll see. But obviously, if I were to make a prediction here, I'm going to have myself winning. I can't get too much into the matchup because obviously I'm the one playing in it. So unless someone else makes the prediction videos, my games are always going to be a little bit more boring. But with the boring to go over. But do I think he's going to a Game 3? I want to say no, just because I'm confident. But I think just because of the volatile nature of Croc's team, you can kind of just take a game like that before you even know it. Like his one game against Tanner, he literally got a 6-0 sweep Gyarados, and you give him one free turn, and he can do that. So I think just due to the nature of his team, he can probably bring me to a Game 3, and I think he's a player of that caliber to take me to a Game 3, but I'm going to have myself winning it. Obviously, you got to have confidence in yourself, so yep. That is that. My games are always boring to go over because I can't leak nothing. Next game of the week is Chris versus Nick. Flat out, I mean, this is second team in the league versus the second worst team in the league. I mean, I don't really got to go over this one all that much. But if I were to give the analysis of sorts and be fair to Nick, we can go over the matchup a little bit. Garchomp, it has a weird matchup here. A lot of flying types. Donphan gonna be hard to break through. Low kicks. One of the few things that low kicks can't really beat that well in Moltres. One of the few things that quadders this bug. So, will we see low kicks this week? I don't know. But yeah. Cursus has a lot, even just at a matchup perspective, Cursus has a lot of answers for a lot of the things on Nick's team. I really don't know how Nick breaks through this. So yeah, gonna give this one to Chris. Just performing way better than Nick this season, and also just matchup perspective, hard to give to Nick. Again, not really gonna spend spend too much time on this one. But this one right here is the spicy set. I've been hyping up, man. I've been hyping this one up. Wu versus Tanner. Oh my god. I gotta grab a water bottle. I'm gonna be talking. Hold on. I know how to keep y'all entertained a little bit. Let me. I know how. Oh, what did I just do? It's recording, right? Okay, cool. I know how to keep my dogs entertained. So while I grab a water bottle, I am gonna. Hold on. I know how to keep my dogs entertained. So I'll be right back. See me? I see light. Alright, we're back. We're back. But yeah, this is the most for Tanner. This is the second most important game of the season. You could say it's the most important, but his game against Croc next week, a lot more important. That's how he like 100% guarantees playoffs. This is like the backup plan. The wins to Wu doesn't guarantee playoffs, but it makes it a lot easier if he does lose to Croc. For Wu, this game is it his most important? Surely it has to be. Surely this is Wu's most important game of the season. Remaining, at least. So there's Wu there. Then Wu plays me, which doesn't matter because he can't take my divisional spot no matter what. Plays Tabs, and then he plays Chase. So yeah, this is for Wu, this is his most important game of the season remaining. And for Tanner, this is his backup plan. This is if all else fails against Croc next week, this is the game he needs to basically to really put the pressure off. If he wins this game, pressure alleviates, I would say 35%. But to say his game against Croc next week isn't important would be not right to say. So for Tanner, he's got a very stressful 2 weeks ahead of him. It's gonna be very rough for the boy. But for Wu, this is his moment. Wu started off 4-0, then he went 0-4. He beat Mnaz, and he's probably going to be new whenever they play, right? I'm just gonna be honest. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Probably gonna be new. So he went 4-0, then he went 0-4, and now he's 2-0. None of that matters. This is the game. This is the game you have to win, and it's tough. So let's start going over it. I mean, obviously, I can't get too much into the matchup because obviously, yeah. Again, I don't want my hands in the basket too much, if you know what I mean. Like last season, I felt like I had my hands a little bit too much in the basket going to the playoffs. Obviously, as an analyst, I could go into it, which I kind of want to, but as a fellow competitor, I play two jobs at once, man. I'm the analyst and I'm a player. So it's like, if I was an analyst, I could say whatever the fuck I wanted because like if I say something, the coach just takes and runs with it. It's whatever. But as a player, it's like if I say something, holds a little bit more weight to it because it's like I'm competing. You know what I mean? Like I'm an active I don't know. That's just how I see it. But yeah, just off team matchup though, this can be a crazy game. Crazy game. Wu's whole season started off as an undefeated 4-0 team. A really rough midseason, starting to bring it back as playoffs are coming up. if Wu just beat Curse last season, he goes in that play-in tournament and he probably makes playoffs, honestly. So Wu was very narrowly just missed playoffs last season. Just had a really, probably one of the hackiest sets in Big Juice history right before playoffs, which just sucks. I mean, he got hacked out of playoffs. That's just terrible. But I've never seen a Gastrodon get so many freezes with Ice Beam, or anything with that many freezes with Ice Beam, to be honest. But yeah, Wu, very big game for him. Wins this game, probably just makes playoffs. So Wu's season very much on the line. And for Tanner, it's not season on the line yet, but if he were to lose his next 2 games, that would be wraps for him. That's just how it is. So yeah, I don't even know, like, just due to the importance of this game, I really just don't know. I don't know. But if I were to just try to give some sort of analysis on this game, God, this is so 50-50. This is so 50-50. This is like, I don't see this not going to a game 3. I think this is going to a game 3. And I think this is a set of the season caliber game, because you have to think about it like this. The stakes at hand. Tanner, second most important game of the season. Wu, the most important game of the season. This is for playoffs. This is to secure playoffs for Wu, and this is for Tanner to get his fighting chance out there. Because as of right now, go back to this bracket, Wu's beating him out right now. So yeah, very, very tough for Tanner. I mean, Tanner, again, very decorated coach within Big Juice. Season 1 runner-up finalist, and then Season 2 semi-finalist. For him not to make, it's like JC and Emnaz not making playoffs for, Emnaz, well, obviously he won finals last season, so in that way it'd be crazy for Emnaz not to make it. But for Tanner, has an extra season under his belt, a little bit, slightly more experience in Big Juice. So for a coach like Tanner to not make playoffs would just be a big statement across the league. But yeah, for Wu to make playoffs after last season just falling a little bit short, definitely be a big story for him. I think with how the season's been going, it's been very hot and cold. But I think if Wu just, Wu, obviously he wants to win just like everyone else, but he has a lot more of a level head about this, right? He's not because Wu, I mean, he said it himself. Going into his game against Emnaz, he went into it thinking he was losing, but he came out and 2-0'd him, right? So Wu just has a very level head in this, right? That's not to say he's not invested in the league. Obviously, he wouldn't be playing in it. He wouldn't be playing in it if he wasn't invested or interested, but definitely a lot more relaxed of a player, I will say. Definitely a lot more of a mentality difference, because for Wu, it'd be great for him to make playoffs, right? Just barely missed last season, but if he doesn't make it, like, he's having fun, you know what I mean? Just the Chad mentality of just not giving a fuck almost. I mean, again, I think he cares, but you know what I mean? Like, a lot more chill about it. He's a lot more relaxed about his approach to the league, and I can respect it. I mean, he's still a top team. Nothing to complain about. But for Tanner, the thing in the back of his head is turning, man. Thing in the back of his head is turning. Tanner, when he plays against broken things, stresses out a lot. Palafin, stressed out about it a lot. I mean, that's, to be fair, Palafin very broken. Did he play Preston yet? Did Tanner play Preston yet? Or am I going crazy? He had to have. When did he play Preston? God, that was 2 weeks ago. Jesus Christ, the season's flying by. Yeah, when he played against the Basket Legion, very afraid of the Last Respects. This is the other Last Respects user. and Houndstone. So yeah, Tanner is playing a really broken Mon, or a really broken move, I should say. The Mon itself isn't broken, but playing a very broken move, and he's got to go up against the walls, man. Druddigon, Eldegoss, Sui, Mudsdale, Screamtail, they all got a lot of bulk to it. So I think this game is going to be, I mean, obviously I don't know what the coaches are cooking up, but if I were to give some sort of prediction going into this, I think it's just going to be a matter of, like, does Wu's walls weather the storm against Tanner's offense? Can they just weather the storm? And if they can, I think Wu wins. But if Tanner's offense proves to be too much, he will win. But again, as I was alluding to a little bit ago, I think due to the sheer amount of pressure on Tanner right now, his two most important games back to back towards the end of the season, I think he's going to get in his head a bit, and I think he's going to fall a little bit short. Obviously, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. You know what I mean? But I think just due to the amount of pressure, the pressure doesn't get to Wu as much, right? He doesn't really acknowledge it. He just lives and he moves. For Tanner, a coach that's extremely invested in the league, really puts himself out there to be the best coach he can be. And for this to be like, Wu is the guy stopping him from making playoffs. And obviously that drives Tanner a lot, but again, the weight of the pressure, it feels a lot more on Tanner, right? So I think that's going to get to him a bit, and I think that's what's going to edge out Wu here, and I think Wu's going to be coming away with the win. Kind of secure his playoff spot. Again, I could be very wrong, but I could see that being the case. Again, yeah, that's just how I see it. The set is extremely 50-50. You can make the reverse claim, say Tanner's going to get super amped up for this game. He's going to go in guns blazing and just destroy Wu. I could see that happening as well, but with the amount of pressure on Tanner and the expectations he puts on himself as a player, gonna be a rough one for him. Gotta be a rough one for him. And also, again, even if Tanner loses this game, right, then he puts all of his eggs in the basket against beating Croc. So yeah, very stressful 2 weeks for Tanner. If I were him, just don't think about it. Just try not to think about it unless it's game time, because this next 2 weeks is going to be extremely stressful, and it can honestly ruin your life outside of Pokemon if you try to think about it too much. But yeah, very stressful 2 weeks for Tanner. Wu, just 1 week, he's got one game he's got to worry about, you know? So the pressure is a lot more on Tanner than it is Wu. But, I mean, honestly, you could say the reverse, because this is the one game Wu has to worry about. But for Tanner, it's split in two. So the pressure's in half for Tanner. For Wu, it's just one and done. So I could be wrong, but that's the way I'm seeing it right now. So, yeah, definitely it's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Wu just because I think the pressure doesn't get to him as much as it gets to Tanner. And I think that, honestly, might be the deciding factor in this set. So, yep. Next set is New versus Chase. Both these teams can't make playoffs, so I want to say it doesn't matter, but obviously you still want to do good. You know what I mean? Like Chase, he's 3-7 right now. If he wins out the other 4 games, he's 7-7. Not the greatest season, not the worst season. You go neutral, nothing wrong with that. But I think New just got Garbodor. I don't know if he'll use it at all, but interesting to note that he traded the Vikavolt to Tanner for the Garbodor. But yeah, for New versus Chase, I mean, Chase has been having a pretty lights out. Like when Chase plays higher end teams, lights out performance. But when he plays some of the lower end teams, like Chase is like he plays up to the level of his opponent, right? If his opponent is really good, he's gonna play really good. If his opponent is like a lower end opponent, I make some mistakes here and there, so we'll see. But realistically, I don't see how Chase loses this game. I think this is gonna be a pretty I think it's gonna be a 2-0 for Chase. I would love to see New get another win. But until we see it happen, we don't know. So for now, I'm just gonna give it to Chase. Again, set doesn't matter as much as some of the other ones. This is more of just a record bump more than anything, just a mentality bump. So yeah, that's that. Next game, I think this matters. Yeah, because this is a potential. As of now, this is the playoff opponents playing each other a little bit early. And the funny thing is unlike Croc in Chris's game, Week 14, where they play right before playoffs, so that doesn't matter at all. This matters a whole hell of a lot because Preston, as of right now, is 5-4. If he beats JC, he's 6-4. Can take a little bit of a breather. But if he were to lose to JC, he's now 5-5, and then JC. Let me just show y'all something, so y'all don't understand. Let me show y'all something. If JC loses to Preston, he's 6-4, and he sits here with Croc and Tanner, and he's kind of chilling, kind of cruising. But if he is to lose to JC whenever they play, I think it's happening something. Let me just get this notification out of here. Where's record? Okay. If what was I gonna say? If Preston is to lose to JC when they play, this changes the playoff race so much. JC is 4-5, not the greatest differential. 4-5, big thing to note. If he is to beat Preston, we then have Preston, Noah, Emnez, B, Tabs, and JC. We have 6 teams, almost half of the fucking league at 5-5, and they're all in the Hoenn Conference. If Preston is to lose to JC, this is going to shake up playoffs massively. Obviously, as I said in the beginning of the video, even if Preston were to get 6-0'd both games and lose by 12, he still has a spot because then JC would be a neutral at 0 differential, and then B would be tied with him. But Preston, I don't know what we would do in the case of a tie, but it's not the last week, so it doesn't matter. So we don't got to worry about that. But as of right now, Preston would keep his playoff spot, and it doesn't matter in the short term. But in the long term, that would change the playoff race a lot because we have essentially the entire conference neck and neck battling out. Either way, it's going to be like that anyway. But if JC beats Preston, that changes everything. Because as much as we've been sleeping on JC this season, and while he is 4-5, not doing the greatest, if he is to beat Preston, this would be a momentous win for him. Absolutely insane win for him. Because again, JC's a little bit of on the sleeper right now, but B and Tabs were in his spot last week or a week or two ago. So JC, as much of a sleeper season he's been having, traded away the Hitmontop, or he got Hitmontop and Sharpedo. JC's still a threat, you know? Might say he's washed, might say whatever you want to say. But JC is still very much in the race as much as we aren't giving him, as much as we aren't talking about him, he's as much as a threat for playoffs. So I would definitely be weary of the boy. JC is never a coach you want to underestimate by any stretch of the imagination. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah. But Preston versus Emnez. This was... Hold on. Yes, I'm American. I eat burgers at 8 in the morning. Shut the fuck up. But, if I were to... When me, Chris, and Preston made that video a couple weeks ago, if I were to make this video then, Preston wins this easy. But as of now, 50-50. Preston has been doing real shit ever since he traded away his team. Why he traded away Mega Scizor and all of his other bulk for this just hyper offense team, I could not tell you. But yeah, makes no sense because Mega Scizor would go crazy in this game. It's one of the few things that can pretty much effectively wall Chin Pao, beat it 1-for-1, pretty much guaranteed every time. And he doesn't have it anymore. Obviously, that's a very niche thing. That was like weeks ago when he made that trade, but my point stands. So yep. But who wins this game? I mean, it's Basculegion versus Chin Pao, you know what I mean? Just two broken mons going head to head. But yeah. MNAS, I think what matters most, right? Obviously, it's matchup dependent, and obviously, I could be very wrong in saying this, but in my opinion, we kind of see it, right? Obviously, a majority of the, I would say 85% of the reason why coaches win is because of prep and play on field, right? The 15% is momentum, right? Momentum is very, very important. It can carry you through a lot of games that maybe you just don't win, right? Maybe on a neutral stance where you, like Preston and MNAS, they're both pretty much equal in standings. The 15% in momentum is the difference maker, right? MNAS just came off a massive divisional win against Noah. Preston, if he is to lose to JC, mental in the gutter. I would say mental in the gutter. But if he is to win against JC, he starts building the blocks up, and it's more of an interesting matchup. But in my opinion, either way, I see this being a game. I can see it being a game 3, but oh, what the fuck did I just do? I can see it being a game 3, so I'll do 2-1. For the sake of spice, I'll do 2-0, because MNAS likes to do really good in games where they MNAS just has that clutch factor, man. That's all I can say. He's got the clutch factor. So I think MNAS will win 2-0. I could very much see it being a game 3, but for the sake of spice and for the sake of the MNAS passive, I'll say 2-0. Yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting game. What does MNAS have that walls Basculegion? I don't know. What does Preston have to wall Chin Pao? Probably nothing. So we will see, and should be a good set. Again, this is an early look at playoffs, and again, unlike Croc and Chris's game, that's week 14. This is a game where they're not guaranteed. Neither of them are guaranteed for playoffs, so they have to try. So this is a brief preview at a playoff game where both coaches have to try. So this is gonna be a treat. I'm gonna be for MNAS and Preston. Obviously, they're playing in it, so they should take it very seriously, but take it more seriously than other games in the season, because this is, if MNAS were to beat Preston, a little bit on the back foot going into playoffs, but if Preston is to beat MNAS will backseat of the mental going into that game playoffs. Big game for a potential playoff rematch that they will have. Next game is Tavs versus JC. Again, really big game. If JC is to beat Preston, he's 5-5, and he's tied with Tavs. Maybe not better differential, but he's record nonetheless. If he is then to beat Tavs, he is in a great spot to take a playoff spot. JC is very, like, as much of a sleeper. This is how you know JC, like, season 1 and 2, I'll be honest, not that I hate him. I didn't hate him as a person, right? As a person, JC's very cool. Love the guy. But as a competitor, I fucking hated him. Because season 1 won this chip. Obviously, fucking annoying. But season 2 then was in a position to repeat, and I fucking hated it, bro. I literally said going into playoffs, I don't even care if obviously I want to win, but I don't even care if I win or not. I just don't want JC to win. So when I saw MNAS beat JC, I was elated. But season 3, definitely not having a season, but as I was kind of getting into before I went on that mini rant, this is how you know JC is just a coach of insane caliber, when he can have such a sleeper shitty season and still be in a position to take a playoff spot. Like, it's fucking crazy. But if I were to start talking about the set a little bit more, and again, I don't like having my hands too much in the basket, but I mean, this is just obvious off-team matchup. Tabs' big threat that he's been really doing well with the whole season is Rillaboom, Appleton 4x resist, bulky ass Mon. So it's going to be a matter of how does Tabs break through it. Obviously he has things like Flutter Mane, but JC has things like Slowbro. You know what I mean? It's 50-50s all around, but yeah. But I think for the sole reason that Rillaboom is facing something that can truly wall it, I think he's going to have a hard time. Again, Tabs has been not having a good season with Lopunny and Flutter Mane. Like, the KDs aren't terrible, but like Lopunny has had like 2-3 good games this season. Every other game been very quiet. I mean, we go back to season 2 Lopunny, like that thing was tearing up the he got Lopunny like week 3 or 4 last season, and it ended up second in kills, 47 and 23, compared to this season where it's 22 and 14. You know what I mean? It almost has the same amount of deaths in like half the games and like not even near the same amount of kills. You know what I mean? So Lopunny having a very sleeper season. Flutter Mane, I expected a lot more out of it. So again, a lot of Tabs' kill pressure is on Rillaboom, and with something like Appleton that can come in on it every time for free, I don't know how he's going to deal with that. So I think JC actually is a pretty good matchup here. And again, I think, momentum's a lot, right? Tabs just lost to B in a pretty important set. JC has a pretty important set against Preston. If JC wins that game, that's a lot of mental momentum going in. And with just having something that can really deal with Rillaboom easily, and also grassy terrain boosting Grab Apple. I mean, I said I don't like my hands in the basket and like spoiling shit, but in my mind, that's such a blatant, obvious bring that like if neither coach saw that, they don't deserve playoffs, right? So, JC, I honestly would give him a 2-0 here. I think JC hasn't been to a game 3 all season, so until he goes to a game 3, gotta give all of his hits a 2-0. That's nothing against Tabs. It's just nature of how JC's season's been going. But I could see I think JC has a really good chance here, and it's crazy because right now, as of making this video, he's what 4-5. Wins against Preston 5-5. Wins against Tabs as well 6-5. Looking real good for playoffs. So yeah, I expect good things from JC. His game against Preston, whenever they play, I think they play either today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. I think they agreed on, but sometime before Thursday. Yeah, sometime before the end of the week. That's all that matters. But yeah, I think JC is as much as we haven't been talking about JC, prime position to take a playoff spot. Just got to beat Preston, and you have a pretty good matchup against Tabs, so I'd be looking forward to that if I was JC. Next up, you got the Beedrill Bandits versus the Talonbirds Toxic Pexes. Biff just came off a heartbreaking loss to Josh. Again, same place as Chase, just a heartbreaking loss. Pretty much coffin for the season. B just came off a pretty big win, a really big win, and really good for him. But the issue then becomes, can B keep them? Because obviously, Biff's rest of the season doesn't matter. But obviously, 7-7 sounds a lot better than 3-11. You know what I mean? You still want to win. So, if I'm Biff, I mean, fuck it, ruin B's playoff chances here. Because again, as much as I've been hyping up games for B in like his Week 12 game against MNES, doesn't guarantee him playoffs. So B still has to try. And just making his life a little bit harder, being that extra bump in the road for him, that's what your calling is for the rest of the season. But Mega Arrow outspeeding everything on Biff's team. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Pincurchin come with some booster energy shenanigans with Bundle or Treads. Again, very blatantly obvious thing in my mind. Just, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's too crazy to say. So, yeah. Bundle, it's going to be pretty crazy, just like every week. B just doesn't have a switch in. So, yeah. And then for B, it's just a matter of can he shut down the Bundle? Because other than that, if he can shut down Bundle, I think Arrow and Sneasler have a really good matchup. So I think it's going to be a good set. I think it's going to be game 3 for sure. I think it's going to be a game 3. Who wins? I think just based off of performance, and that's not to say Biff has been doing well, but 3-7, 5-5, got to give the edge to B here. I think with how important the rest of the season is for B, he's very nervous because, again, this is really the last season came in a little bit late, came into a team with an 0-4 record, almost made the turnaround though, made playoffs, which is crazy, but now that he's finally in a position for a full season to actually make playoffs, pressure's building. We could see B crumble and fall apart, or we could see him just go in absolute demon mode. Last week, absolute demon mode, had a really, really good week and a really important divisional game. So, assuming we keep seeing that B, I think B can win, and I think B will win. It's just, I think it's going to be a game 3 slobber knockers. So, yep, that's that. And then Noah versus Josh. The two boys going at it. I think Josh, Noah, and Biff are all friends. I think Josh is the person that invited them to the league, so Josh versus Noah should be. They're gonna have a lot more fun in this set than I think we are going to do. I mean, as much of a great set this is going to, as much as this is going to be a great set to watch as a spectator, I think for Josh and Noah, this is gonna be a very fun set to play. Obviously, when you play your boys, you gotta, gotta have the one up on them. You know what I mean? But this game is so monumentally game changing, season changing for Noah here. Again, I've been saying he's a coach that I would be very surprised to not make playoffs, but in such an important game against Josh, I mean, Noah's 5-5 right in the middle of the pack. Obviously, he's a great differential, plus 22. But if he loses this game, he's 5-6, and he's a game behind some of the other people. JC could be above him, Preston could be above him, B could be above him, Taz could be above. Like, a lot of these coaches could be above him. So there's no room for error here for the rest of the season. No room for error for the end of the season. However, Noah's divisional record's 1-4. So that means his actual record outside of division is 4-1. So outside of division, he's been doing great. Inside, not so much. Josh, literally like about 2 minutes before I recorded this video, he traded away Driftbloom for Rotom Fan, as you can see now. It is eligible for this game. That's why I even put it on the layout. So yeah, it will be eligible for his game against Noah. So there's that. So yeah, just a little interesting side note. But yeah, I kind of want to give this game to Noah just because he does so well, not in division games. You know what I mean? Not in division. Noah's he's a different beast. You know what I mean? But his Josh is so weird, right? Like his game against Noah, I thought was his game against MNAS, I should say. I thought it was gonna be a good game, but he just got destroyed. And Josh just has those games. Like, all of Josh's wins are so close. All of his losses are just head scratchers, man. They're head scratchers. So, this is a big game for the both of them. Josh, not as much, but obviously when you're playing your boy, you want to win. For Noah, just astronomically massive game for him. I mean, he cannot afford to lose any more games the rest of the season, just flat out. So the pressure advantage goes to Josh. This game doesn't mean as much, but again, playing against your boy. And that's why I think Noah's going to be under a lot of pressure. He's playing his mate, which is crazy. And it's a really, really important season to find a game for him. He cannot afford to be a game under any other of the coaches. They're all neck and neck at 5-5. So for the pure mental difference, I have to give the advantage to Josh here. Does Noah have the dog in him is the real question. Do we have the dog alert? I don't know, but we will have to see. This will be the game to show it and prove it. But I think it's gonna be a game 3 banger set, but I have, just for the pure pressure difference, the difference in pressure going into the set, I have to give it to Josh. Again, maybe Noah performs best under pressure. I don't know, but until we see that and can confirm it, I have to give it to Josh, just purely based on the pressure difference alone. One side note that I will mention is Tapu Koko is like a pretty big bring for Noah, but Iron Moth is a pretty big bring for Josh. Did he give Moth free terrain? I don't know. We'll see. But yep, that is my predictions here. Expect me and Crocs King to be very good, but I expect to win. Chris versus Nick. Woo versus Tanner. This is a game of the season caliber game. So much pressure going into this set for both coaches. They both need to perform. Obviously, nature competition, there can only be one winner, and that sucks for the both of them. It sucks to be their friends and have to see one of them lose in such an important game, but this is a set of the season caliber game. The stakes going into it, the pressure building going into playoffs. So definitely excited to see that one. Chase versus New, not that important, but whatever. And that's versus Preston. We'll preview at a potential playoff rematch that they will have later on. So I think it's still an important game to watch. But again, it's week 11. So what? 11, 12, 13, 14. So like about 5 weeks from now, they'll probably play again, assuming nothing too crazy happens. So nice little month in advance preview here. Tabs versus JC. Very important set for the both of them. Assuming JC beats Preston, just absolutely important game for him. He has a pretty decent matchup going into it. JC just can't lose. He can't lose, and neither can Tabs. And again, being both their friends, it sucks seeing that one of them has to lose, but nature competition can be an important game for both of them. B versus Biff. Important game, but I think B has been playing really well. He's gotten really comfortable with his team. I don't see how he loses this if he just keeps his head in the game. Yeah. And Noah versus Josh. Just pressure difference alone, got to give it to Josh. Noah, we can see if he performs well under pressure, but as of now, sticking it out with Josh. That's what I feel comfortable in saying. So that is my predictions for week 11. And again, just to reinforce this a little bit, and just to get out of here on a good note, y'all need to understand something. This is playoffs, baby. This is, as of right now, this is what we're looking at. If you don't see your team name on this screen, you ain't got that dog in you just yet, baby. Ain't that goddamn right? So, if you want to prove that you are a playoff contender, a championship contender, you gotta start proving it, man. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this music kind of play out while I talk a little bit towards the end here, but this last couple of weeks is gonna be extremely important. And again, if you don't see your name on this screen, gotta start performing. But yeah, just crazy season. I don't know how season 2, a lot of new coaches, so not as competitive as I'd like. But season 3, with half the league essentially sitting at 5-5, I don't know how a league can get more competitive than this. Season 3 has been so much fun to play, so much fun to watch. Honestly, I like watching the games more than I like playing them. That's how good the games have been this season. But yeah, great season all around. Very excited to see how this last little month of play turns out to be. Again, if you don't see your name on the screen, gotta win out. But I'm gonna get out of here. And yeah, that will be it for me. I'll see y'all later.